Hi, everybody, and welcome to Ivy League Analytical English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
And I can't wait to get started. We're doing
translation.
Yeah, and here we go. Here's number one.
好，我们现在要做翻译。好，我们看看第一题。他说，良好的沟通能够帮助我们减少许多的误解，以及维持良好的人际关系。那良好的沟通蛮简单的，英文大概最常见的说法就是 good communication。好，沟通就是 communication。然后呢，能够帮助就是 can help。然后呢，这个减少许多的误解。那减少误解是 misunderstanding 啊。那这个很多，而且这个 misunderstanding 是可以数的，所以这里我们可以加个 s。然后呢，减少是 reduce。那减少许多的误解，我们比较会直觉会觉得说，我们好像可以说 reduce many misunderstandings。但是我总觉得 somehow it sounds weird or strange。Because
reduce means to make fewer. And when you put many together with it, there is a little conflict there.
That's why 哈。但是刚刚就像 Karen 老师讲的，因为 reduce 跟 many 这两个字 ，many 是很多 ，reduce 是要减少。那在中文里面减少很多误解是没有问题的，但是在英文里面这两个字有一点点的相冲突。
What we could say in English is reduce misunderstandings greatly or greatly reduce. We can say greatly. It's fine as an adverb, but not as an adjective there.
那这里呢，英文里面如果要讲的话，可以加一个 greatly 啊 ，greatly 来修饰这个 reduce， 所以讲 greatly reduce 是可以的啊。所以这里呢，这个我们应该把它改成greatly reduce， 然后many 就不要了 ，misunderstandings 加个 s。然后呢，第二部分维持良好的人际关系，这比较容易哈。维持就是用最简单的 maintain， 然后呢，良好的人际关系我们可以 good interpersonal relationships。那人际关系就是 interpersonal relationship， 那这个字是可以加 s 的。好，所以我整句的翻译呢，就是 good communication can help greatly reduce. Well, help greatly reduce.
Greatly. No, it doesn't work.
对，这个地方就有点奇怪，就是这个 help 就是 greatly reduce 没有问题，可是前面加了一个 help 就怪怪的，听起来 doesn't work. 好，所以这个 greatly 呢，我们还是不要加。好，我们直接说 good communication can help reduce misunderstandings。这样就好了啊。然后呢 ，and maintain good interpersonal relationships。那刚刚这个过程当中，其实各位，我希望你们学到一个重要的一课哈，就是我们在翻译或者在写作，不管中英文还是英文的时候，我们会想到各种 possibilities。可是有的时候你会发现，后面这部分你做了某种处理之后，你觉得可以的，可是可能跟前面那个部分连在一起的时候 ，somehow 听起来就怪怪的，
有点冲突
啊。所以声音很重要，而且改写也很重要 ，editing 很重要。你写东西写完之后，你自己要念念看顺不顺。如果发现不顺，你就把它修得顺一点。
You can use greatly if you say good communication can greatly reduce misunderstandings, no problem.
那如果把 help 拿掉的话，你说good communication can greatly reduce misunderstandings 就没有问题了。可是加了一个 help 就怪怪的我想可能也是因为 help 只是说有助于，但是 greatly 是很肯定的说这个很有用。
Then it's really big.
Yeah， 所以一个是有助于，一个是很有用，那两个就有一点冲突了。所以这也是有另外一个冲突，所以这个蛮有趣的。各位，我想这个你如果发现这个 greatly 放的可以修饰 reduce， 可是就发现 greatly 跟 help 有冲突的。那你用 many 的话 ，reduce 跟 many 是冲突的。
Can we hear your final version one more time?
Okay， good communication can help reduce misunderstandings and maintain good interpersonal relationships.
Very good. Here's my translation. Good communication can help minimize misunderstandings and maintain good interpersonal relationships. I originally thought social, and I thought this is not the best word, but there's 社交 in the Chinese. And then Wesley came up with interpersonal. I thought, yes, that's the right word. So I've changed it to his word. One more time. Good communication can help minimize misunderstandings and maintain good interpersonal relationships.
那这个地方呢，我非常喜欢那个 Karen 老师那个 minimize misunderstandings， 因为 minimize 这个字其实就是减少许多的意思，
蛮强的。
因为你表示把它变到最少那这样的话就表示你可以减少许多的 misunderstandings 所以这个听起来这也是一个很棒的翻译。
So that's a good lesson. If you have a more complex idea, greatly reduced, sometimes you can put it into a single word, and then that makes it more powerful because the information value of that word is higher.
所以呢，你找到一个好的字的时候呢，它的 information value 就它提供的这资讯会更丰富，而且以更精简的方式提供更丰富的资讯，那就是 good writing.
So one more time. Good communication can help minimize misunderstandings and maintain good interpersonal relationships. You could also repeat help here because it's so far back, you forget that there should be a help in front of it. So you could say, good communication can help minimize misunderstandings and help maintain a good interpersonal relationships if you want it really to be really explicit, but actually you could leave it out too. Let's look at the translation in our magazine. Good communication can help us reduce misunderstandings and maintain good relationships. 比较简洁, it's fine.
对，那人际关系啊，我们这个杂志上翻译直接用 relationships 来翻啊，也可以，没有问题。
Because actually interpersonal just makes it more specific, but relationships are 关系 between people, so it's actually quite enough.
因为 interpersonal 只是强调加强这个说明说那是人与人之间的关系。
When we say interpersonal, I think of two people immediately. I think of you trying to get along well with some other person. It makes it more concrete and very specific. Relationships is just really, really broad because one thing that we think of with relationships is romantic relationships, and that's not all they're talking about here.
OK， 好，所以如果用 interpersonal 的话，就让我们想到说，我们在谈的是你跟另外一个人之间的关系，你要能够把它，你希望能够有 good interpersonal relationships。那这个更具体。那如果说你不用 interpersonal 的话 relationships 比较感觉起来是比较 general 一点。
That's right. At least for me, when I hear interpersonal, I see two people in my head. Okay, number 2.
好，那第二题我们看，和别人沟通的时候呢，我们的心胸必须开阔，如此一来才能接受不同的观点。好，那和别人沟通时，我们的心胸必须开阔，这个其实是一个很典型的中文的一个结构，因为中文的副词子句会放在前面的。好，但是英文的副词子句它比较正常，最正常的这个位置其实是放在句子的后面的。Yeah.
But the only thing is, when I looked at the Chinese, I knew what kind of English they wanted. And I had the feeling that although the meanings are related, they're not exactly the same. 心胸很开阔. For me, I don't know, maybe I misunderstand the Chinese, but it also means that you're, in addition to being open-minded, that you're sort of upbeat and open to the world and positive and optimistic. It has all those things, all those meanings to me. I don't know if that's right.
I think you're right. 好，这个地方啊，中文讲说心胸开阔，其实啊，当然我的直觉，我看到这个字我就知道它大概要我们翻 open-minded。
So 但是 I bet as soon as you saw the Chinese, it turned into English in your head, and you didn't even think about the Chinese much anymore.
Yeah, but you're right. 哈，但是这个 Ken 老师说，这个心胸开阔，在他感觉起来，中文的意思除了说你可以接受别人的观点之外，还表示你这个人可能比较乐观、比较积极。好，可能心胸宽广，是有那种感觉 Yeah.
I get the feeling that you're going into life without your baggage. By baggage, I mean all of your past worries, all of the things that you brood over. You think that, oh, I handled this situation badly and I offended somebody and I was so hurt. And that's your baggage. And if you go through life carrying your baggage, it usually shows in how you interact with others. And if you go into life without your baggage, you just put it down and you move on. You know, I'm living in the moment and looking ahead. I'm not looking behind. That, to me, describes something closer to what the Chinese suggest to me.
Yeah. 啊，没有错，这个所以中文的心胸开阔啊，它的这个意义其实大于英文的 open-minded.
And it's the opposite of 那个小心眼.
Yeah, 它就是不小心眼，而且啊，就是表示你没有心里面没有带着过去的包袱。
Right.
你永远活在现在啊，的影响未来等等，那些都是正面的一些 associations.
Because 你心眼小的时候, that is when you are starting to 计较过去一大堆事情.
Yeah.
And so when you want to get revenge or when you're trying to work through this old stuff, that's the time when your 心眼 gets really 小. But if you put that down, then you're open to the world. That's my feeling.
Yeah, 好，所以没有错。那所以呢，这个句子我们在翻译的时候，首先啊，我们这个可以要处理几个问题。第一个就是在和别人沟通时啊，那我刚刚讲，因为中文基本上是向左边扩展的语言啊，那所以我们这个副词子句放在这个主要的结构的左边啊，和别人沟通时。但英文正好相反，英文是往右边扩展的语言，它的副词子句通常会放到后面去，比较自然。好，所以首先呢，翻译的时候，我就把这个when 这个跟别人沟通的时候，那个 when 这个东西我放到后面去。那第二个我们要注意的就是刚刚那个心胸开阔啊。那虽然说中文的心胸开阔大于英文的 open-minded， 但是我们还是可以用，因为在这里大概要接后面的接受不同的观点，那英文大概就是用 open-minded 这个字。
And I think that's what the person who wrote the Chinese sentence was thinking, and they couldn't find a better translation for open-minded in Chinese. I can't think of one either. 思想很开通。
Yeah,
it's not quite the same either.
Yeah, but 思想开通makes me think of you're trying to distinguish this person from a person who is very 老古板.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But 心胸开阔 it's slightly different.
That's right.
所以这个地方没有说中文这个英文里面大概不太容易找到另外一个跟中文
完全符合
的
yeah.
所以这是第二个要处理的问题。然后呢，这个和别人沟通时，这个沟通当然你可以用 communication， 可以用 communicate when we are communicating with people。但这个地方，我觉得你在 communicate， 那后面又讲到要接受不同的观点，我觉得好像 communicate 它指的好像不是说能不能接受别人的观点啊。所以这里呢，其实我们可以说 when we speak with others 就可以了，因为和别人沟通就是我们看别人讲话的时候啊。那当然 speak 也不限定是讲话，就是跟沟通有一点接近。所以我可以这样翻，我可以说 we must。那 open-minded 是个形容词，它的意义也是蛮明确的。但是我如果把它变成说keep an open mind 啊，那其实也不错。那意思就是说我们的心要开啊，就不要有成见啊。所以我就翻成 we must keep an open mind 啊，然后呢后面再加 when we speak with others， 然后再说如此一来，那也就是以便于 in order to， 然后接受不同的观点。这个地方当然你可以说 adopt different point of view 但是我觉得其实心胸开阔它不一定表示接受
Right， 不一定采纳。
我懂啊，所以心胸开阔就是 I understand， 但是我还是可能会觉得说我不同意你的看法。
But I've listened and I've added it to my database.
Yeah， 但是我有听你讲，而且呢我有把它放在心上啊。所以心胸开阔其实在英文里面它跟这个接受不同的观点其实中间不见得是必然的关系。中文里面可以，但到英文的话会有点怪怪的。所以这里呢，所谓接受不同的观点，我觉得英文里面它的概念比较是接近于从不同的观点看事情。
Right, and if I were writing the Chinese, I would say 听到不同的观点。
Yeah， 或者听进去。
听到 is enough.
Yeah， 听到 ，Yeah， 或者听进去。好，那这个地方呢，所以我们翻译的时候要把它翻得比较像英文的话，我可以说这个 when we speak with others in order to see things from different perspectives， 从不同的角度去看事情那就是 就是 keep an open mind。它可以达到的一个结果，一个效果。好，所以呢，我这句的翻译是 We must keep an open mind when we speak with others in order to see things from different perspectives. Perspectives 就是观点的意思。
Okay, here's my translation. And only by keeping an open mind will we be able to expose ourselves to different points of view. Now, when I was looking over Wesley's translation before this broadcast, I realized that I didn't put in 和别人沟通时 I didn't put it in, and I would still like to leave it out. If I'm forced to put it in, I will change the sentence thus. And only by keeping an open mind when speaking with others will we be able to expose ourselves to different points of view. But in my opinion, it is redundant. We don't need it because it's very clear. When you keep an open mind and when you want to be exposed to different points of view, of course, you're going to be talking with people. That's just what humans do. So I prefer it this way. And only by keeping an open mind will we be able to expose ourselves to different points of view. Now, I personally like this translation. 会接触到不同的观点. We don't accept all of them, and that's not what having an open mind is about. It doesn't mean you hear something and you believe it. Then you're going to be credulous. You're just going to believe everything you hear. It's about listening, and that's a big thing that pretty much all of us need to work on.
Yeah, credulous 就是好骗，很容易受骗的意思。它的拼法是 C-R-E D-U-L-O-U-S， C-R-E-D-U-L-O-U-S 就是很好骗，容易受骗那 Karen 老师他也是他用 by keeping an open mind 他也是没有用的 open-minded 这个形容词那保持你的心胸开阔。然后 when speaking with others， 我也是觉得其实不用讲但是你如果一定要写的话，你可以把它写出来 when speaking with others。好，然后呢 expose ourselves to different points of view 那就是expose ourselves to 就是让我们暴露于，其实也就是接受，就是听到的意思，让我们碰到知道这些东西。
And note that because I used only at the beginning, I had to invert word order towards the end. And only by keeping an open mind will we be able to expose ourselves to different points of view or differing points of view. Yeah, And here's the translation in our magazine. When communicating with others, we must be open-minded so that we can accept different viewpoints, all right? It's very literal, but it's because it's so literal, it sounds like Chinese English to me. When I see a sentence that starts with when blah, 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 okay? When 什么东西, it sounds immediately like Chinese English. Not that it'll always be wrong. So when communicating with others, I would put it in the middle if we have to have it. We must be open-minded so that we can accept, so that we can expose ourselves to is better because we don't always accept them.
所以这地方用 accept 好，在文法上面是没有问题的。那如果考试的话，你这样写应该也是没有问题的。好，因为其实考阅卷的时候呢，这个他接受的答案其实范围蛮广的。OK， 然后还有另外一个就是刚刚 Karen 老师讲，在你 when 这个放在前面的时候呢，感觉起来比较会像是中式英文，因为我们讲这是中文的特性，中文会把这种副词句往前面放，先提供你一个 context， 先告诉你一些背景，然后再跟你讲我要讲什么东西。
Right. And I want to mention one more thing. You said that Chinese expands to the left and English expands to the right.
Generally.
The way you say it in linguistics is, well, you can say left branching and right branching. That's one way to say it. But the way I usually say it in my papers is Chinese is head final. Head is 被修饰的部分. The part that is the important part, the part that is modified, comes at the end. 100% of the time in Chinese. 没有什么例外. So 被修饰的部分 will always come at the end in Chinese. So everything that modifies it will have to come sooner. So Chinese is head final. It's right. Yeah, it's head final.
Yeah.
And English can be both. The head can be to the left or to the right. It can go left-headed or right-headed. It goes both. So Chinese you could also call right-headed.
Oh, okay. So is there a term for English that something final? No?
Nothing final because it doesn't have to be final. Because in English, it can, for example, the pretty girl. Pretty is to the left. That's left branching. But when you have a 子句, then it goes to the right. So English has the head on either side. You can have your modifying material either to the left or to the right.
好，所以就是这个特别的名词上面，大家可以学到中文它其实一个特性就是 head final， 它的那个核心语，那 head 你可以说是核心语是在这个后面，在最后面的，所以修饰词都会往左边跑。你也可以叫做 left branching。那英文的话呢，其实 right branching、left branching 都可以哈，但是比较它的趋势是比较是属于 right branching 啊，东西往右边去发展。
If it gets long, it goes to the right. But if it's a short modifier, it goes to the left. That's a general rule. And that's it for today. Remember to join us next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.